I think more than anything, I'm just really excited. I think, like, you know, this is a dream. This is something I wrote down on a piece of paper when I was in, like, 2nd grade. Like, get a basketball scholarship, play in the WNBA. Like, this is always something I wanted to.
A little different than basketball press conference. A lot of media in here today. I guess I'm gonna start with y'all today, right now. First off, I just thank y'all for covering me and all the exposure that you gave me, my family.
Caitlin Clark has officially snapped, and now she's calling out the deep-rooted corruption that's been bubbling behind the WNBA's polished image. From the moment she got drafted, Caitlin's been sidelined, snubbed, and flat-out targeted. And now, she's done staying silent. While Brittney Griner got handed every spotlight, every campaign, and every ounce of league protection, Caitlin stayed cool. She didn't complain. She didn't make noise. She just kept grinding while they literally turned her into the league's punching bag, physically and politically. But now, that silence is shattered because Caitlin just pulled back the curtain and revealed the truth. This was never about talent. It's always been about control. Control of who gets the spotlight, who gets the endorsements, and who gets to be the face of the league, no matter who's actually putting fans in seats. The WNBA handed the mic to Griner, rolled out entire media campaigns to push her comeback, and acted like that was the story fans cared about. Meanwhile, Caitlin was out here breaking records, selling out arenas, and drawing millions of new fans. People who never even gave the WNBA a second glance before she showed up. And what did the league do? Pretend she didn't exist? The deeper you dig, the more obvious it becomes they were never going to let her win. Not because she wasn't talented, not because she wasn't marketable, but because she didn't fit their narrative. She wasn't one of the chosen ones. So now, the so-called golden girl just flipped the script, and the league might have really messed up this time. It all exploded after the WNBA snubbed Caitlin Clark from the All-Star starter list, a move that had fans raging. And what did the league do next? Went into full PR spin mode for Griner. Suddenly, Griner was everywhere. ESPN packages, branded highlight reels, front and center at Media Day. Cameras followed her like she was being relaunched as the face of the WNBA. Meanwhile, Caitlin's the one out here selling out every venue, shattering attendance numbers, and converting new fans left and right. But the league pretended she wasn't the main attraction, and now that Caitlin's finally speaking out, the whole machine's being exposed. Caitlin Clark isn't just popular, she's viral every single week. We're talking fans flying cross-country just to see her in person. But when it came time for the WNBA to spotlight the players actually changing the game, the ones bringing in fresh eyes, new dollars, and headline deals, they acted like she was just a side note, like her record-shattering impact didn't even matter. And it's not just fans noticing, even reporters are calling it out. In one interview after a game, a reporter straight up tells Caitlin to her face that she's the reason Indiana's season ticket sales are at an all-time high.
In full swing. I heard that season tickets are going like blazes in Indiana. Have you heard that rumor?
I have heard that rumor. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think they're selling pretty well.
Clark is also part of the reason why a record 18.9 million viewers tuned in to this year's NCAA championship game, making women's basketball must-see TV. One of the really great things about this season has been watching all of the little kids, most of them little girls, who are so inspired to play basketball because of you. What does that mean to you?
I think that's like the reason you do it, and just to see them scream your name or have your jersey on, that's something that never gets old.
And then things get real shady. ESPN's mid-season player rankings just dropped, and instead of showing love for everything Caitlin's been handling, they hit her with the silent treatment. She was preseason ranked number 1, but now she's sitting at number 9. No major explanation. No praise for the pressure she's been under. No credit for playing every game in front of sold-out crowds, with every move picked apart by critics. Meanwhile, guess who's chilling near the top of that same list? Brittney Griner, like the whole script was already written and locked before the season even tipped off. Caitlin's carrying the league on her back, and instead of lifting her up, they're pushing her down. And fans, they're done pretending they don't see what's going on. The league's playing favorites, and it's getting way too obvious. And if you really think this is just about stats and performance, be serious. Even after that shady drop in the rankings, Caitlin Clark is still the reason people are tuning in. She's the spark lighting up every arena, every stream, every highlight reel. But when the league pulls the same tired excuse, we're honoring veterans, it's not just lazy, it's straight up insulting. And now, Caitlin's done playing their PR game, After yet another game where people were more focused on who shoved her than the points she dropped or the dimes she dished, a reporter asked Caitlyn how it feels carrying the weight of all this attention, all this pressure, when it's not even stuff she asked for. And for once, she didn't go with the safe "I'm just here to hoop" line. She paused, looked visibly annoyed, and let something real slip. Here's the clip.
But I would have rather been in a 2-a-day dying, and than to be where I was. So just looking forward to being back to that. Am I exactly where I want to be? No, but I'm on the right track to getting there. That's for sure. I will say that.
See, Caitlyn doesn't waste words. When she speaks, she means it. So when she looked fed up and admitted she was frustrated, that wasn't by accident. That was her coded way of saying, I see exactly what y'all are doing, and I'm not playing nice anymore. And you know what else speaks volumes? She's never called out the players who foul her, never named names. Even when reporters try to bait her into talking about the respect issue, she shuts it down. She always spins it back to the game, her team, or just tries to keep it about basketball. But fans, they're not blind. They see what's happening. They see the WNBA bending over backwards to protect certain players while acting like Caitlyn should just smile, take the hits, and be grateful for the scraps. And they've had enough. Just look at this one comment blowing up across social media. Never watched the game until Caitlyn arrived. Now scroll the replies. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people saying the same thing. The message is loud and clear. Caitlyn Clark brought the crowd. But the league, they're acting like she's just a side character in someone else's story. And fans are done pretending they don't notice. This ain't just fan hype. The numbers back it up. The ticket sales, the viewership spikes, the merch, the media buzz, all roads lead to Caitlyn Clark. So make it make sense. But if you thought the league was just being passive-aggressive, nah, what they pulled next wasn't just petty, it was calculated. Right after sidelining Caitlyn from key recognition, the WNBA handed the spotlight straight to Brittney Griner, like it was scripted. Ever since Griner got back from that international incident in Russia, the league's been in full-blown promo overdrive, pushing her as the comeback queen, the emotional heart of the WNBA. Need proof? Check her post-swap ESPN sit-down. The whole vibe was built to frame her return as this emotional redemption arc. Not just for her, but for the entire league. The message? She's been through hell. Now she's the face.
All of this stuff adds up. People always want to just use like the really big fouls that don't get called. It's like, oh my God, can you believe this wasn't gonna get called? The reason why I'm really trying to highlight this is because this is what goes on all game. Every single game. Every single possession. It's endless. And it will wear you down. Wear you down.
And look, no one's saying Brittney didn't go through something. That Russia situation was no joke. But let's be real about what's happening here. The league is choosing the comeback narrative over the player who's actually driving the business. While Griner's return makes for a touching media story, it's Caitlyn who's been out there night after night keeping the lights on. And how's Caitlyn getting treated in return? She's getting shoved mid-court, body checked with flagrant fouls that never get called, and ignored by refs like it's all just part of the game. And when I say fouled, I'm not talking light contact. Go watch the tape. Creators have been posting highlight reels, breaking down how rough she's getting hit every game. And somehow, it's all just swept under the rug.
Caitlyn, the question I get about you all the time is how will your game transcend into the WNBA? How do you see that fit?
I think the biggest thing is my passing, and I think that's kind of what people overlooked at times in college, is like people just love the scoring so much, and don't get me wrong, I love shooting the ball, but I think that's the biggest thing, and obviously being surrounded by so much talent, no matter where I end up, is like the league is loaded with so many people, and I think that's something that I've always had a knack for from a very young age. I grew up playing soccer and understanding angles and seeing the game before, it even happened.
It's like the league's trying to push her out without ever having to say it. No suspensions, no outrage, no protection, just silence. But the fans, they see it clear as day. They're watching how Caitlyn gets treated, how the narrative is spun, and how the league keeps pretending nothing's wrong. But the numbers don't lie. And the people paying attention, they're done staying quiet. There's a comment floating around that sums it up way better than any headline could. Someone wrote, "I thought I was self-destructive until I found out about the WNBA." And honestly, that hits. A rookie comes in, boosts her team's value, spikes attendance, drives up viewership, helps land better TV deals, and what does the league do? They treat her like shark bait, letting her get mauled on the court with flagrant fouls while pretending it's just part of the game. That's not drama, that's facts. Let's rewind to the moment when Caitlin Clark had the whole country watching right after the draft. The WNBA was having its biggest media moment in years, and how did ESPN respond? By skipping her in their primetime post-draft interviews. No sit-down, no solo spotlight, no feature. And this isn't some player who came out of nowhere. This is the same rookie who just broke NCAA records and set the sports world on fire. She already did the pre-draft media tour, so don't even try to say she wasn't available. The truth, that post-draft silence was loud, louder than any applause she got on draft night. Here's the clip from that pre-draft media day, just to remind everyone what ESPN chose to ignore when they decided to ghost the biggest rising star in the league.
Like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
And while Caitlin was being treated like an afterthought, Angel Reese was bagging endorsement deals left and right. She was all over campaigns, TV segments, and press appearances. Meanwhile, she's out here throwing shade in interviews, delivering hard fouls mid-court, and turning games into a full-on media circus, and somehow that's the face they want to push.
Let's remember why she went to Russia. She went to Russia because they don't make enough money here based on their talents to support themselves. So after a harrowing year, Ms. Griner finally returning to the court, but she's going to take a pay cut to do it after 9 months of wrongful detainment in Russia.
So let's get this straight. Caitlin Clark gets sidelined for being too likable, too marketable, too clean cut, while others get rewarded for chaos? Make it make sense, because fans are seeing it, networks are playing it, and the agenda is getting too loud to ignore. Caitlin brought the spotlight. The league just decided to turn it somewhere else. Caitlin Clark is too focused, too unproblematic, while Angel Reese is out here turning every game into an audition for a reality show. And guess which one the league is hyping up? Exactly. And once you follow the money, it gets crystal clear what's really going on. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, two rookies who are literally carrying the league's attention right now, are both making between $76,000 and $80,000 a year. That's it. That's all you get, even if you're pulling in record viewership, boosting team value, and saving the sport. Meanwhile, Brittney Griner is sitting on a Supermax deal worth $215,000 a year, and that's after taking a 32% pay cut. Let that sink in. Now here's where it gets even more twisted. When Griner went overseas to Russia to chase a bigger check, everybody came for the WNBA. Fans, media, even national news outlets were dragging the league for not paying their stars what they deserve. People were outraged. The headlines wrote themselves.
For the first time in an extensive interview, former WNBA player Candace Wiggins said the league's culture was full of bullying and jealousy. Wiggins told the San Diego Union Tribune that she was frowned upon as a straight woman, claiming 98% of WNBA players are gay, adding, "People were deliberately trying to hurt me all of the time. I'd never been called the B word so many times in my life than I was in my rookie season. I'd never been thrown to the ground so much." Message was, "We want you to know we don't like you." Wiggins believed her pride in being a woman didn't fit well in the culture.
But now, when Caitlin and Angel are in the exact same situation, putting the league on their back for peanuts, nobody's saying a word. Why? Because it doesn't fit the narrative the league wants to push. It's all adding up a little too neatly. The WNBA wants a very specific kind of face for its brand. And if you don't fit into that mold, if you're not part of their carefully curated identity plan, you don't just get overlooked. You get sidelined or silenced. And yes, we're talking identities too. Let's not pretend this is new. This isn't just about points and stats. This is about image, agenda, and who they want holding the mic when the cameras are on. And if you don't fit that box, the league makes sure you feel it. Years ago, Candace Wiggins pulled the curtain back and said what nobody in the league wanted to hear. She was bullied out of the WNBA, not because she lacked skill, not because she couldn't keep up, but because she didn't fit in. From the moment she joined Minnesota, she said she was marked. Why? Because she didn't follow the WNBA's unspoken image rules. Don't be too feminine, don't be too visible, and definitely don't be straight.
I think all the players are saying, look, if you're saying this is a culture, this is something that it happens to everybody in the league or is league-wide all the time, that's something they, want to comment on because all the people that I've talked to said that hasn't been.
And when she said all that, The media didn't rally around her. Instead, some sports journalists flipped the narrative, saying other players hadn't had the same experience, implying she was the problem, not the system.
Yeah.
Will Bay be here?
Who?
Is Bay gonna be here?
No, he's working. Yeah. Yeah, I'm flying solo. I better get used to it, man. This is the pro. This is my job.
And now, here we are again, with Caitlin Clark caught in the exact same pattern. New face, same playbook. Let's be real. Caitlin is openly dating Connor McCaffrey, and she doesn't hide it. She's talked about him in interviews, shouted him out, and proudly brought him along to games. And whether people want to admit it or not, that alone puts her in a different category in a league that's quietly built its image around LGBTQ identity and politics. This isn't shade, it's just the truth. Caitlin stands out, and the way she's being treated? Yeah, fans are connecting the dots. So let's ask the obvious. Why does Brittney Griner get treated like royalty, while Caitlin Clark gets treated like a punching bag? Why can Angel Reese get in Caitlin's face, screaming without consequence? Why can Chennedy Carter hit her with a blindside cheap shot mid-game and not even get ejected? The silence from the league is loud, and fans are starting to see what's really going on. And the WNBA, they just let it slide. One comment online nailed it. Caitlin Clark is literally getting assaulted and battered on the court, and the refs always miss it, even when they're looking right at it. And that's the cold truth. This ain't about fairness, this ain't about safety. It's about control, about who fits the league's image and who they're trying to humble. Caitlin's out there taking flagrant hits in plain sight, while the refs act like they need glasses. But let anyone so much as look at Brittney Griner sideways? Watch the league throw on the cape. It's clear they'll go out of their way to protect Brittney, even if it means tearing Caitlin down in front of millions. And fans, they see it. They're not confused anymore. They're fed up. Please subscribe, share, and like. See you on the next one.